Yeah. It's similar to mine. Anyways.
Failed, as usual.
So, hey everybody, welcome back to the Daily Biker Podcast. I am Marcus. I am sitting here with Lewis.
How's it going?
So, this is take 2. We're late on getting an episode out, so I do want to apologize to the world. So, we had attempted to record one live at nightfall, and I will blame it on operator error, me being the operator, but the audio of that podcast has failed. Womp, womp, womp.
That would have been a pretty cool episode, too.
Well, we can try it again on Thursday, or on Friday. Phil's going to be in town.
You can try to get on Friday.
You're not going to go down with me?
I can't. I got to go to the, my company's buying a table at the, oh no, the,
Yeah, that thing.
yeah, it's the Wounded Warrior thing where it's like a charity where we raise money.
That Andrew does.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to be there Friday night.
So I know Andrew way back from high school. I know his wife, Tori, for a long time too. They're, it's all good. It's all good. So anyways, yeah, I will try it again on Friday with Field. He'll probably enjoy that. Like, hey, we're going to do a live podcast. Yes. So, yeah, that sucked. That was going to be a good one, but we'll get it redone. So, like I said, I want to apologize for being late with this episode, but better late than never, I guess. I want to make sure y'all have something to listen to this week, really is what it boils down to. I would have gotten with Lewis on the weekend, but Lewis's wife was out of town last weekend, so he made sure to spend the rest of the evening with his wife. I'm sure y'all can hear that in the background. If you do, pay it no mind. We're in a busy, busy location today. So, what I want to talk about today, because I know you have no idea what we're going to talk about.
That is true.
I know you're on the MCN's website. Are you trying to do some research real quick?
I'm just looking for something to talk about.
So, you want me to tell you what we're going to be talking about?
What's that?
We're going to be talking about rider safety and riding in a group. I think that'd be a good situation, something good for us to talk about, especially with what's happened in the Chattanooga area over the past couple weeks and everything like that.
Yeah, very true.
And then, of course, the ride. I went on Do the Ride Saturday.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, so how did that go?
So Do the Ride went fantastic. We rode from White Lightning down to Knucklehead Cafe, Rockmart, Georgia. So we'll get into that first. So riding in a group, okay. There's a meme going around Facebook. I guess it's kind of a meme. Someone put out about the riding in the group. Have you seen that? About how like the road captain, and it puts the position on everybody. And it's like
no, I haven't seen it.
So I don't know if you have access to Facebook on that, but you can pull up my Facebook. Billy tagged me in it. So it's talking about like the road captain up front, left side, unique knowledge of every back road.
Oh, wait a minute. I
in
didn't
the
see
nation.
that. Yeah.
Talks about going into like the second guys, like in line is usually one of the strongest riders. And it kind of goes through the whole thing and talk about putting the slower, weaker riders. Now, keep in mind that's not a slight to anybody. It's just kind of a thing that you have to understand when it comes to riding in a group.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have the man on sweep, which you were when we went to McKaysville, and I had Gadget do sweeping on this last ride.
Yeah.
So sweeping is usually one of the best riders of the whole group. They're completely capable of doing anything that may need be, making sure cars stop at the back of the pack. Gadget's a really good rider. Gadget's also used to riding with a group, though, too. So Gadget's part of the Combat Vets Association, so he's used to riding in a group as well with that. So otherwise, I'll tell Gadget that you're harping on him.
He's a listener. He'll hear it.
So, but no, that ride was really good. So that was kind of one of the things. So when you're riding in a group, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. you would think majority rules, but it actually, most of your decisions that happen that in a group ride need to be a unanimous decision, not a majority decision.
Yeah.
Only because if you take someone that's a strong rider that's comfortable with riding the interstate, but you have someone in that group that is not comfortable with riding the interstate, if there's only one or two people in a group of 10 or 15 and everybody else is okay with it, well, then you got majority rule. But now you're putting people in a position where they're not comfortable being, so they probably don't necessarily need to be in that position.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to think about the strengths and weaknesses of your weakest rider, your least experienced rider.
Correct. I mean, you take someone and you put them in an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah. At that point, it doesn't matter what position they are in the pack.
You
It's a
never
bad
know.
situation.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Whether they speed up and take out other people in the pack, whether people in front of the pack stop, they don't stop in time. But you have, riding in a group on the interstate, if you're trying to stay as a group, is kind of a very aggressive activity, because when someone changes lanes, you all have to be ready to take lane, even with cars approaching, because where you in the lead might change lanes going, oh, this car's 50 feet behind you. Well, your group is 40 feet long. So now that last person in line is 10 feet on the pack. And obviously the bigger your group gets, the person towards the back of the line, the sweeper, they can't see until a handful of motorcycles in front of them start taking action.
Yeah. Well, and you also, too, you brought up a good point there with, like, switching lanes. One thing that I always feel is a big deal when you're riding in a group is, of course, staying out. Like, if you do get on the interstate, avoid the passing lane at all costs. Because most of the time, if you're riding in a group of about 6 or more, you really have no reason to be in that lane. You're probably just going to cause a worse situation by backing up traffic.
Yeah.
So, and then that kind of segues into going into a group ride. And again, you're talking about a group ride of people maybe you don't normally ride with. Maybe it's a group of like 7 or 8. It's not a group of your usual buddies that you ride with 2 or 3 deep. You have to go into it with a non-aggressive mindset of, okay, I'm not going to ride like I usually do.
Right.
Yeah, it is essentially a parade.
Now, if you start with a larger group and the group tends to sometimes whittle down, which ours kind of did, when it come down to the final draw, there was a couple people that didn't want to take the interstate, and that's kind of why I bring that up. So we weren't going to, but then they voiced that they weren't going to be sticking with the pack anyways because of where they lived at. Mm-hmm. They were going to be branching off way early. So there was then a discussion take place. Hey, do you mind? We're going to go ahead and branch off now then. Yeah, awesome. That not a problem. So then we branched off, and our group then was of 9 motorcycles. But 3 of those motorcycles did not want to stop. They did not have a reason to stop.
So how many total did you have?
So we had 11.
Okay.
So you had some people that went with me. I had to get gas. So a handful of people went with me. So then we were in a much smaller group. And it became one of those things where while we were getting gas, they were all like, when we get to interstate, we're ready to get back. And I just kind of went, what kind of pace are y'all comfortable at riding? Which I knew Gadget. Okay. I know how he rides. Billy was in that group. And I know Billy is used to rolling at higher rates of speed anyways.
Right.
So we had one other guy that I kind of looked at him and I was like, because I knew everything that was going on except for this one guy. I looked at him and I was like, how do you typically handle the interstate? And he goes, I typically cruise at about 80 to 85 miles an hour. And I was like, okay, not a problem.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were on I-75 way south of Chattanooga. I mean, we were just barely north of Atlanta. And we basically hit 75 north. I took it up to 80, hit cruise. I was like, there's the 10 mile an hour mark.
Yeah.
and we just hammered down from there. But we also, at that point, you could tell it was guys that were used to riding in a group, used to riding at a little bit faster pace, maybe more a little bit aggressively paced.
Yeah.
Too, and it did produce. Even the fun, the ride back was really fun, with even a smaller group.
Yeah.
So,
usually the rides are when the smaller the group you have. So, good topic for this week: riding in the rain.
yeah. You rode in the rain. I did not ride in the rain. So let's see here. I got somebody sending me a text. I'm just going to. Let's see here. It's work is texting me. All right. So, anyways, riding in the rain.
So, big key parts there. I know you have to have the right. You have to have the right tires. Actually, you have to have just decent tires in general.
Yeah.
If you have tires that are barely have any tread on them, you're putting yourself in a really dangerous situation. That's the reason why I don't mind riding my bike in the rain so much, because I've got 2 brand new tires.
Well, and the other 2 big factors that come into play with that are confidence, because your motorcycle, for the most part, will perform a lot better in the rain than what you assume it would.
Yes,
because that is one of the things that they looked at in the engineering process. They don't just build these machines for sunny day riding, because when you get into a lot of other parts, not only of the country but of the world, you start entering into a lot of people that's all they have. They ride that 24/7, 365. So it's kind of one of those things. But the other factor for me is knowledge of the road surface that you're on.
Yeah, it's really important, especially if you know that you're in a high traffic area. If so for people like that are familiar with, let's say Chattanooga, so Gun Barrel, Hamilton Place area, around places like shopping malls and a lot of wherever there's a lot of traffic jams and stop and go areas, those roads are usually slick.
Well, I think that's because of the oil.
Yeah,
there's more of a chance of oil to leak onto the road surface.
Absolutely.
So then when it rains, it pulls up the oil.
Yeah, and you got to be really, really. You have to be conscious of that. You have to be aware of that, and you have to assume that the road in those areas, even after it's rained for a long time, not just the first 15 minutes of a shower where all the roads are slick. This road, this intersection, this turn, this parking lot is going to stay slick all the time. And it doesn't matter how much it rains, it's always going to be there.
Well, and there's 2 more factors that come to play with talking about tires in the rain. And really it's kind of tires in general, because you want to make sure that you have good tread on your tires. But you also want to make sure that you have the right tires for your motorcycle.
Yeah.
So there's some people that go, I have a 17-inch wheel, and they just find a tire that's a 17-inch tire that fits their motorcycle. Well, that tire might have been developed for a motorcycle that weighs 400 pounds, and you're putting it on a motorcycle that weighs 600 pounds.
Yeah. Well, and also, too, our sport bike guys. So
Correct.
Talking to them, you have a performance tire that is, a rain tire, and you could use it on the track or whatever. Well, that's fine, but that tire is not going to do you any good unless you have heat in said tire, even in a rain tire.
Yeah.
You're going to have heat in that tire before it's going to perform as it should.
So when I rode sport bikes, there's a lot of guys that were like, I'm not a big fan of that tire. But I rode with the Pilot Road 2CTs. I'm not sure if they still make that tire. I think shortly after I got out of sport bikes, I think they stepped up to a 3CT, and they've probably ventured on way beyond that. I mean, that's 7-8 years ago now. But I really liked the Pilot Road 2CTs. I got great traction in the dry, but I got really good traction in the wet too. I never had situations of spin out, slide out, or any of those types of situations. And it was a tire that was specifically designed to go on sport bikes for all weather conditions.
Okay. Yeah, I can't say that I have any experience with that tire, but the 2 that come to mind that I have had experience with are the Michelin Commander 2s. Great tire so far.
That's what you're running on your Cowleys, right?
I've got it on the FXR and I have it on the 900 Cowie. Yeah.
Okay.
And I've tried to avoid the rain on both of those machines. It happens, and I haven't had any problems. The American Elite Dunlops
Yeah.
that I have on the Street Glide, again, it's actually been a fantastic tire this summer in the rain. I've had it in the rain probably about as much as I've had it in the sunshine this year, and I get no slipping at all unless I hit a painted line. Painted lines, the tire has zero traction. It might as well be on ice. And it's probably going to be about the general rule of thumb for pretty much any tire that you have.
I painted lines are kind of a slick section anyways. I mean, even just walking across a parking lot, you can step on a painted line and feel how much slicker it is, even in the dry.
Why don't we have a gritty paint that we put down on it? It seems like a no-brainer.
I don't know if it's really like a paint, though. I think it's... So around here we see them spray it, but you also see pictures of where they lay it down, and I think it's more like a vinyl paint.
Either way, you'd think while it was wet, you could put something gritty in the mixture, and it would lay down.
Well, if you've ever picked up that paint, like when it's been fresh laid, and it's on a vehicle, it's not like regular paint. I mean, it's thick, clumpy stuff. Thick.
All the more reason. Why not just throw some sand in the damn thing, you know? I don't know. It just seems like we put somebody on the moon. I feel like we could make the roads not so slick when it comes to painted lines.
Well, I think we could just make the roads not so slick, period.
Maybe. Elon Musk, get on it.
I'm just waiting for it to put domes over the interstates everywhere. So no matter what the weather is, it's always nice inside the dome.
I just wish they'd give the 18-wheelers their own lane. Give them their own interstate.
Bring the trains back.
Jeez.
More trains. More trains, more train tracks, more time to just sit there and go, when is this train going to stop?
So.
Jesus Christ, I'm going to fall backwards out this chair.
So moving on from rain, let's talk about, I don't know, something else. What's been new? So riding gear.
You talk about on safety?
Yeah. So a lot of people have different opinions on gear. I will tell you right now, I am not a huge all the gear all the time guy.
You are today.
But I've got all the rain gear on all the time because it's been raining in Tennessee every single day.
So before we dive down that road, let's start one piece at a time, and let's start with one piece of gear that I recently swapped over to full time that you still have yet to. And it's only personal preference. Helmets. I recently, in the past couple months, have went to full face all the time.
Yeah.
No matter how hot it is outside. That was only because Biggin, when he had his accident, his last accident, if he had not had on a full face helmet, he would be probably much better looking than he is right now.
Possibly.
So a full face helmet definitely saved him big time on that.
Oh yeah. Full face helmets are good. I love mine. I wear it most of the time, not all the time. Kind of depends on where I'm going and what I'm doing. But if I'm on the street glide and I know I'm just going to the dealership, usually I wear my half helmet during the summer. During the winter time, of course, I wear it all the time. And if I'm on the Kawasaki's, I wear it all the time as well.
Well, I will say this. If you're someone that rides quite frequently, whether you post on social media or not, those types of things, you do influence people more than you realize.
Yeah.
So if you're someone that tends to ride with a full face helmet a lot, other people around you see that. Maybe they ride. Maybe they start going, let's look at a full face. Yeah. If you're someone that tends to ride with a skid lid a lot, I'm not going to harp on you for any of that stuff because when I'm in Panama, I don't even wear a helmet. But there's going to be a lot of other people going, oh, well, I'll just wear a skid lid. I know I have fell into those influential traps of seeing what other people are doing through time and doing it until I just kind of started going, I like this. I'm going to do this. This helmet brand I think is better than this helmet brand, and proceeding to do those types of things.
And 3/4 too. 3/4 provide quite a bit of protection. I mean, it does still in the summertime. It'll leave your face open. Find one that's comfortable. Find one that you like. A 3/4 helmet's not a bad way to go, because I know a lot of people like myself. When it's 100 degrees outside, full face is not ideal.
Well, also,
and it's understandable.
Well, also, the other downside to full face for some of these people that have motorcycles that have storage compartments on them,
can't store it.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a tour pack, you could probably get one full face helmet there. If you have a trike, you could potentially get 2 full face helmets.
Yeah. Well, a good way to mitigate that is just stop buying really expensive helmets.
But
if you have a helmet that really nobody wants, nobody will take it.
We both have really nice, expensive helmets.
False. That thing is less than $300.
Okay. Do you know how many people are going to hear that you have a $300 helmet and tell you that's an expensive helmet?
I'm sorry. A $240 helmet.
There's people even still. Because I know people that will buy a $100 helmet because it's a full face helmet and it looks cool and those types of things.
Yeah, but they're probably buying accessories for their Jeep and their Harley off of Amazon too. So, wah, wah, wah.
Have you not bought parts off Amazon before?
From a motorcycle? No.
Yeah. Okay. Mark 1 in the column for Marcus then.
All right. So, what's next? Where are we going here?
We're still talking about gear. So jackets.
Jackets. I have 2 jackets. I have
let's say upper body, not necessarily jacket,
yeah, sure.
but upper body.
So helmets.
Okay, we've already covered helmets. Yeah,
and then jacket. I have a very cheap, and I got this when my wife and I first started getting into riding again. I bought a Joe Rocket jacket. That's it's like mesh all over, except it's got the armor in the back and in the shoulder and elbows. And in the shoulders. I want to say that jacket was like, God, it was like $80 or something when I bought that, maybe even less.
Right.
It wasn't, and it came with a rain liner too.
Yeah, I know the jacket you're talking about. They're an extremely popular jacket.
Comfortable. It looks like just a regular riding jacket. It's nothing too fancy. Get them in all kinds of colors. And like I said, what I really liked about it had the liner on the inside. So if it did start getting cold or it did rain, you could put the liner in. And I don't ride, like I said, I don't wear mine all the time during the summer.
Right.
However, I do like it when I know I'm going to go on a long ride. So keep in mind, where am I going? So if I'm going to the Dragon, if I'm going to do the Skyway, if I'm going to go for a really long ride that I know this road is going to be kind of technical, the people I'm riding with, we may be getting in it a little bit, I'm going to take that jacket. Right. I'm going to take my full face helmet. I know what I'm going to be doing, so I'm going to prepare for it. That jacket is a really good jacket. I can't say enough about it. It's the price point. You can fold it up, throw it in a saddlebag, and like I said, the rain liner.
Yeah. Well, jackets are a big lifesaver all around, whether you're involved in an accident or whether the weather turns out to be crap. I know for me, usually I'm not in a jacket, but starting kind of in mid-September, I guess it is really, that's one of the accessories that stays in my saddlebag, a jacket. So with jackets, you have a leather jacket that you do wear during the wintertime. I don't. I have a windproof jacket. It's whatever you want to call it. It's like the soft shell material. I've got a couple of those that work great for blocking out the wind.
Mm-hmm. I've got the Victory Lane Harley jacket. I love it. I got it for Christmas.
The one everybody has?
Yeah.
We've discussed that before because that's the one that everybody has. So I have a leather jacket. I don't wear it that much because the fit of it is not necessarily comfortable on a Harley. I have an attack fit Icon jacket. I don't even know what it's called. I mean, you could probably look it up if you looked up Icon Dunlop leather. Yeah, let's see here. Just go there. The one with the yellow, where it says Dunlop in yellow.
Icon?
Yeah. Is that one leather or textile, though? Oh, no, that one says Icon. No, so this one said Dunlop in yellow. Go to your Google Images real quick while you're doing that. Right there. Sorry, not in yellow. The very first one. Yep. It says Dunlop in yellow on the sleeves. What's that jacket called?
Icon Moto Mag Factory leather jacket.
Yeah, it's the Moto Mag jacket series that they did, the leather jacket. But it's a very aggressive fit, so it's not necessarily the best on a street glide. It would probably be fantastic on the Kawasaki. It was great riding a sport bike because of the position that you were in.
Yeah.
And I used to wear that thing religiously.
I can't speak enough about my Victory Lane jacket. That's probably it is the most comfortable jacket that I've ever put on. It's pricey. It'll last forever as long as you don't, outfat it.
Yeah.
And then it's comfortable. It's one of the most comfortable jackets I've ever worn.
Well, one of the things that I've swapped to doing a lot, and of course, like I said, I don't necessarily wear my leather jacket anymore much. I wear a soft shell jacket, but I do have a leather vest. Now, a lot of people are going to go say stuff about club stuff and all that type of stuff. But when Shannon had his accident, Shannon had a lot of road rash on his back that would have been prevented by a jacket, or by a jacket, or even if he had just had on a vest. The road rash could have been prevented.
Right.
So vests will actually do some for you on the protection aspect of it. So don't necessarily discount those.
Yeah, especially if you're going sliding down your back, and make all the difference in the world.
Yeah. So here's another one for you, gloves. Okay, so Saturday when we went on that ride, there was only like 3 of us in the whole group that wasn't wearing gloves. Now, I don't think anybody had on a jacket, but a lot of people did have on gloves. I was not one of the individuals that had on gloves. Partially because I only have one pair of riding gloves. And if it's above 70, it's hot.
Yeah.
They're really hot. But I've got a pair of Alpine Star windproof gloves. They're leather on the whole hand, on the inside. They're the windproof material on the outside of it. And they do have the knuckle padding, but it's built into the glove. So it's not, look at mine, carbon fiber cover or whatever.
I'll tell you some gloves that I've started wearing, and I swear by them. These gloves are great. I use them at work, and also when I ride during the summer. Impact gloves. So whether it's mechanics wear, you can get some off of Amazon. All kinds of different companies make them. I love those gloves. So
the reason I don't have summer gloves right now was because someone got into my motorcycle and took I had a pair of the Dixon gloves.
Oh, they went missing?
One of them went missing. Some reason they stole one glove. I still have the other glove.
I think you just lost one glove.
No. Conveniently enough, I know someone went through the saddlebag because most everything was strewn across the parking lot. They got spooked when the police arrived and they kind of dropped everything. So I would imagine if I went walking through people's yards, I could potentially even still find my glove. But I used to wear those all the time. And before those, I had a pair of Dunlop. They were still Mechanics brand, but they were Dunlop badged gloves and everything that were, they were a gift from a Dunlop rep and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I did ride a lot. Those can do a lot for you. Just, they're not going to save your hands. And I'm going to be absolutely honest. My personal opinion, I don't care what the gear is. I don't care if you're wearing full race leathers. If you hit something that's going to break a bone, you're going to break a bone.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to stop you from breaking a bone except for a hard material. So in the jackets and in some of the pants where you have hard pucks on your knees, hard pucks on your elbows, shoulders, on your back. But where those are at, those are also kind of weak points of your body.
Yeah.
They don't put it at your forearm. They don't put it on your upper arm. They don't put it on your shins. They don't put it on your thighs. Those points are typically stronger parts of your body, but that's also typically what people break in an accident.
It's like the first point of impact areas too. So your elbow, your shoulder, your back, your knees.
Yep.
Those are kind of what takes a hard hit at first. Now, you may slide on your forearms. You may slide on your stomach, but the material there is more for road rash prevention anyways. And honestly, I don't know the scientific data behind all this, but when Shannon had his wreck and we seen all his road rash and everything, and we seen how quickly his shirt was eat. We seen how quickly his blue jeans went ripped through. Would that make that much difference if he had shorts on? It probably saved him 2 feet, 3 feet.
Yeah. I mean, it destroyed his pants. It destroyed his shirt.
There's no way really.
But if you notice too,
completely safe.
Kind of where his road rash was. He had road rash on his back. He had it on his butt. He actually had it in the crack. Mm-hmm. He had it on the back of his upper arms. Because when he went down, he was immediately on his back sliding.
Yeah.
And he had it on his hands. He didn't really have it in those areas where we're talking about. He didn't have it necessarily on the thighs. He had it towards the outer parts of his body. I think he got a little bit of road rash on one of his legs. Obviously, he had a lot of road rash on his other leg.
Yeah.
But then, that kind of brings to the next area, your pants, moving on from your upper body to your lower body.
Yeah, I think the only way that you're really going to be able to keep yourself somewhat safe is you're going to have to bite that bullet, and you're going to have to buy a set of $300
Kevlar.
Pants.
Well, have you seen the Kevlar blue jeans?
Yeah, I have.
Those are stupid expensive.
All of them are stupid. I haven't found a reasonable pair that looked halfway decent yet.
Well, so here's my opinion about those pants. And I think Scott has the right idea when it comes to riding pants, actually. We'll get into that in a second. But $300 riding pants, for someone that rides all the time, as we typically do, $300 riding pants, that's just a rain pant. $300 riding pants, like the Kevlar blue jeans, something that you can ride, stop at a restaurant, go inside, don't have to worry about taking off an overpant or something like that. That's not something that I can put the money on, and a lot of people can't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people out there that have the money to do that. I don't necessarily. I'm not broke, but if I was to replace my blue jeans, all my pairs of blue jeans with those blue jeans, I mean, I wear blue jeans to work.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 or 5 pairs of blue jeans, you're talking a couple $1,000s in blue jeans, and I'm less than $300 in blue jeans.
It's pretty crazy what these things are going for. Are they worth it? I don't know. I've never worn a pair. I've never obviously gone down in a pair of them.
Well, I think if someone wanted to buy a pair for, like you were talking about, those longer rides, that might be more understandable.
When you know that you're gonna go out and you're gonna ride these technical roads, you're gonna be getting in a little bit, and you're longer rides, whatever. Yeah, it'd be a great Christmas gift to ask for. I want one pair in this size, and that's gonna be your riding pair. Right, that's it. You get one of them, and it's really all you need. Not a bad investment. I haven't done it, but it's not a bad investment.
So I think there's another option though, and Scott has the right idea. What's more durable than denim? Canvas.
A lot of stuff. Yeah.
Scott rides in Carhartts all the time, and I think those Carhartts would potentially hold up better, because I think the problem with denim is it slides across asphalt, rips, then starts to shred.
Yeah.
So with your Carhartt, you're not going to enter into that shredding.
Yeah.
Whether it's Carhartt or Dickies or Walls or I'm sure there's hundreds of brands that make that stuff. Liberty has Carhartt or Liberty has canvas material. You're not going to enter into that shredding.
Right.
So the abrasion resistant is just higher. I'm not saying it's going to help you. Keep in mind, anything that we suggest on here is merely observational in our little bubble. But if you have something that you say, this is what I wear, they do pretty good, hit us up. Let us know what you use. We did have one of our listeners from New Brunswick, Canada, hit us up. I'm talking about right now he has great riding weather. I made sure to tell him that unfortunately his great riding weather only lasts a couple months. He invited us up to Canada, but you come south.
Yeah, it would be a lot easier.
We'll let you ride year round.
For you to come down here, and we have a lot of riding for you to do.
We have some of the roads that you've probably only read about. So, and especially if you decide to ride down here, there's a lot of roads that you can ride. So, what are these? Are these canvas?
Yeah, these are some canvas pants by Cole, I guess is the name of it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of looking around.
And those, $90 is not too far off the price of a lot of the blue jeans.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of options out there. You can spend as much as you want,
but then let's get into the next part, going even further down, shoes.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on shoes?
Well,
I really have one opinion.
Just not flip flops.
Yeah. Not flip flops, not sandals. No open toe. Nothing like that. Always a shoe.
Yeah, I wear a closed toe shoe, which my shoes have the composite toe in them anyways.
Yeah. I wouldn't even really suggest those really lightweight athletic tennis shoes that are kind of all mesh. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if I'd really suggest those because those rip easily.
They do. They do. Well, and you need something, especially when it comes to shoes. One thing that we found out with Shannon's ordeal is you really need to have a super stiff and strong boot.
Correct.
Because, like with Shannon's deal, it was his ankle and his heel that basically said, all right, it's got to go, right?
Right.
We got to take the hole. We got to take the leg.
Right.
I've seen that happen in another accident too. And it had nothing to do with anything above the ankle that was damaged. It was always the heel and the ankle. It was like, look, we can't repair this because it has had such trauma and has been crushed or whatever.
Well, that's kind of one of those things, for me, 90% of my riding is riding to work, riding to go out to eat, riding a bike night, riding around town to go somewhere specifically. So this time of year, I'm riding a lot in tennis shoes or even lightweight boots, or cowboy boots or something of that nature. But wintertime rolls around, I have tall, thick boots that feet sweat in the wintertime. But even now, like Saturday, I got those new boots. I've got military issued, I don't want to call them combat boots, but if you're in the military and that's what you still reference them as, that's fine. But they're tall boots that kind of come up just below the calf, and they're fairly sturdy. I mean, tie them up tight, lock it in.
Yeah.
Hold your foot pretty well solid.
Well, and that's important too. Again, you're like, okay, well, I am going on a ride. I'm going on probably a slightly unfamiliar road to an unfamiliar place, and I'm, chances are we're getting on the interstate. So we're going to be higher speeds, and that's something to be said. You mitigate the risk. Okay, so everybody's like, you got to wear all the gear. You got to wear it every time you get on the bike, and they're like, okay, well, that's a great idea. However, you guys that have full sets of leathers and gloves and full face helmets and all this. It's not realistic to ask somebody that commutes every day to work when you live 15 minutes from the house and you're getting at about 40 miles an hour top speed.
Yeah.
You know, to put all this stuff on every time you go. Like when we go to bike night, you know, it's 10 minutes from your house, it's 15 minutes from mine, and we're never getting on a main road.
Well, and that's the thing. I've met a lot of guys from previous dealerships that I've worked at that full race leathers and stuff like that, and they'll go ride the Dragon and stuff.
Makes sense.
But when they would show up to the dealership on their motorcycle after work, they weren't in that gear.
Right. Right.
So there's nothing wrong with having that gear. But to preach to someone about wearing that gear all the time, yeah.
Well, it's probably somebody that doesn't ride.
It's right. That's what I was going to say. You're talking about the difference between someone that might put 25 to 3,500 miles a year to someone that puts 25 to 3,500 miles a month.
Well, and I've had this conversation with somebody before that was on the opposite end of an opinion with, you know, no, you got to, because he always wore his jacket and a full face helmet, and, you know, he rode, I'm assuming, pretty aggressively. He had an R6. Yeah, R6. But the thing is he did not ride all the time. And when I was, you know, we were going back and forth, and I said my opinion is like, well, you know, he made a good point. Riding during the commuting time is when you're most likely to go down. I'm like, yeah, it's true. Well,
yeah.
You should wear all your gear. No. Well, what if you get hit by a car? Leather's not going to do anything if I get hit by a damn car.
Well, and that goes back to the point of no matter what you're wearing, that gear is not going to protect you from breaking your arm.
Exactly.
I mean, Shannon had on, you know, what they sit there and at the state and go, boots that go over the ankle, good blue jeans, a full face or a DOT helmet, those types of things. Shannon had on all that and still lost his leg.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing that was going to stop his leg breaking where it did unless he had on motocross boots.
Essentially, yeah.
So, and even then, would it have stopped it from breaking, or would it have just found the next weakest point and broke there?
Right, yeah, well, and that's the thing is you really don't know. All you can do is mitigate the risk as much as you can. There's not.
Well, I tell you the other nice thing about a good pair of boots. Unless you're riding a very small motorcycle that's lightweight and you're a bigger individual on that motorcycle, meaning if I get on a 250 or a 300, I can throw that thing around like it's a bicycle.
Yeah.
So when I stop and I put my foot down, if the footing is not sure, it's not going to matter. The weight is a non-factor. If you're riding a motorcycle that's 350 to 400 pounds plus, getting into motorcycles at 1,000 pounds for gold wings and stuff like that, you know, the smallest thing when you pull up to a traffic light, you put your foot down and there's a rock there and your foot hits it and kind of rolls for a half a second. You know, if you have a boot, your ankle is going to stay in a solid position to where you shouldn't lose your footing. That's kind of where they push boots with hiking for that same reason.
Yeah, it makes sense. You know, definitely wouldn't disagree with that. It definitely makes sense.
So, moving past the gear, the other big thing that I want to talk about is generalized riding safety on the road.
Yeah.
A lot of people ride the same way I do. I'm sure you do. Every car that's on the road I don't sit there and go, oh, that car's a potential hazard. I go, nope, that car's going to try and kill me. What do I need to be doing right now to be prepared for that car?
And most of that is on us as the rider. You
Correct.
cannot expect the car or truck or whatever to make appropriations for you.
Correct.
And the thing is a lot of the same rules that apply in a car, they apply on the motorcycle. It's just now the price that we are going to pay by not doing it
Correct.
is much higher. And I'll tell you one right off the bat that kills me, and I seen this when Megan and I were going up the interstate. So we're on the interstate, and well, there's two things I want to mention here. Side by side driving on a multi-lane road. There is under no circumstances, unless it is just bumper to bumper traffic on the interstate, so a wreck, traffic jam, whatever, should you be riding side by side with somebody. There's no reason to either speed up or slow down.
You have no space to be able to react to anything.
If one person busts a tire, one person veers, whatever happens, it's now a crash. What could be a recoverable or a one-car accident is now a crash.
Well, it's when you messed up your wheel. When you hit the pothole and messed up your wheel. What would have happened if somebody had been next to you?
Well, in that particular incident, from what I remember, I don't think I went into an opposite lane or to another lane. I'm sorry, another lane. But here's the thing: had I been in my truck and all of a sudden I hit, and then my right front or my left front pulls the steering wheel out of my hand, definitely could have been an accident. Another thing, and riders, this is where the whole loud pipes save lives is just a crock to get you to buy into having loud pipes. If you're riding beside somebody, especially on the highway or on the interstate, you are in their blind spot.
Yeah.
The noise is not only behind you, it is behind that car.
And if you want us to prove that point, my motorcycle is extremely loud. You put me next to anybody with a modern car in our area, there's a lot of the modern Volkswagen and Audis and stuff like that. They have the really good sound insulation, sound deadening. You put them in their car, they have their radio up, they're enjoying themselves. They might hear a little drone in the background, but to them, they're not going, oh, that's a motorcycle.
Yeah. Well, even when I'm riding beside you, it's not outrageously loud until you're almost past me.
Right.
So when you're behind me, it sounds just like what I would think my motorcycle sounds like behind me. But it's not until, and I'm not even saying like side by side. It's
till you get behind that exhaust.
Basically, when I get in your blind spot,
right,
that's when it's loud. And that's because the exhaust is now in front of my face.
Well, see, those little factors are part of the reason why. And I've had people say it to me. They go, oh, man, I saw you on the interstate. You were flying. I'm like, well, I wasn't going that fast. I'll normally travel between 5 to 10 miles an hour faster than the flow of traffic. Only because I'm not spending any time around that traffic.
Yeah.
And if I'm going 5 to 10 miles an hour slower than the traffic, what I have are cars approaching me. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going a little bit faster, I'm mitigating the risk of someone coming up behind me. Yes. If I was to have an emergency situation where I needed to slow down. Mm-hmm. There's no car traveling a little bit faster than me on that aspect, number one. But number two, if you look at it, because I've noticed this a lot between driving on my last job. I mean, we're talking my last job. I spent, 3 hours a day traveling to and from on the interstate and other major road surfaces and everything. Cars will group up. Mm-hmm. You'll have these sections where you'll still have a handful of cars between groups, but cars will group up. So if you're going a little bit faster and can get out of that group, now the number of vehicles around you becomes substantially less.
Yeah, and the risk of something happening substantially goes down. I mean, you talk about things that you wouldn't think of, somebody running into you, you running into them.
Yeah.
You know, I've had it happen to me before where I was kind of looking off at something. I look back and the car that was 7, 8 car lengths ahead of me is now stopped in the middle of the road. Now I've got to, and then, of course, if you're sandwiched between 2 cars, obviously you're in huge trouble.
And that's one place you never want to be, especially if you're in traffic. So lane placement, where you're at in the lane, is something very important. Police and riding academies and all those types of things will tell you that if you're first in line, you need to stay to the left of the lane. You never want to stay center of the lane. Center of the lane is where all the contaminants from a car goes to anyways.
Yeah.
So whether the road's wet or dry, you're in a slicker area. You're also on a crown.
Yeah.
But staying to one side or the other is always where you want to be. Now, for me, in traffic, I never position myself to where I can't get out of the way in situations. The other thing I do after I stop is I'm constantly paying attention. Unless I've stopped and there's a car behind me immediately when I stop, if there's nobody behind me, I'm constantly paying attention to cars coming up behind me. Noticing their speed, noticing what's going on, because there's lots of situations where people get rear-ended.
Yeah, well, and that too, we talked about it on one of the first episodes. My buddy that had a rear end collision doing a funeral.
Right.
And the guy on the motorcycle got it on tape.
Yeah.
What that guy did was a really good way to mitigate risk because
Correct.
They got on the side and they were even riding in a group. So I was kind of impressed by that. There was like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, they all went to the shoulder.
That's probably something we should start doing too. Now that I think about it, but here's the thing: that guy would have been dead had he just lined up side by side like we'll usually do.
Yeah.
In that kind of situation, I don't think there's a way he could have survived it.
Well, that's like if I'm on the interstate, especially if I'm by myself, typically because I don't know what you're doing. Like if we're on the interstate, we get in standstill traffic. I will literally ride on the line.
Yeah.
Whether it's the solid line in the fast lane, whether it's the dotted line between one of them. Does that put me in a situation where if someone's lane splitting, I'm kind of blocking them? Yeah, but hey, I'm in Tennessee and that's not legal here anyways.
Yeah.
So, but I'm putting myself in a position where if something was to happen, I'm going to be either not a factor or I'm going to be less involved in an accident. Because I think if someone rear-ended me, I would rather be a situation where it pushed my bike past the vehicle than pushing me into the vehicle in front of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because if a 3,000-pound car, 4,000-pound car rear-ends me, I'm not going to stop my motorcycle from going into the car in front of me.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. So, those are always factors. But like I said, the biggest thing, always be paying attention to every vehicle around you. We've unfortunately lost people in the area recently due to that same situation. Car pulled out. They were not enough time to do anything.
Yeah.
I don't put the blame on anybody in those situations. I've been very close to those similar situations, but the reason I say very close is because I started making maneuvers before those other vehicles started making maneuvers. I've also been the individual in the vehicle to start to creep out and go, oh, no, stop real quick. Whether it's a car or a motorcycle coming on. Holy shit, I didn't see them.
Well, and it's so important. We have to discipline ourselves, really, when it comes down to it as drivers. we have to slow down. We have to stop. And I'm talking at intersections. We have to slow down. We have to stop. You have to look. I mean, not just go through the motions.
Yeah.
Digest what your eyes are seeing.
Yeah.
Process it. Like I said, just like you, I've done it before. We all have. It's complacency is what it is. We get complacent. There's a couple of there's one place on my road where Garfield comes out onto Harrison Ooltewah.
Yeah.
People will literally not look as they pull out onto Harrison Ooltewah Road. They seriously will not look. And I know why they're looking. They're going through the motions, right? You obviously see their face looking at your face, right?
Yeah.
It's only for a split second. They don't take the time to stop. They roll through the stop sign, and the bank on the left hand side, as you're looking for oncoming traffic, sticks out so far.
Yeah, you can't see past them.
You can't see. You have to really get out there, stop, and kind of bend your neck a little bit and go forward to be able to see.
Well, and
what's on the other side, and people don't do that.
Highway 58 is a great example of one more thing that I want to mention before we call it a day. When I'm on Highway 58, I will stay in the left lane. I don't ride the right lane. There's a lot of people that go, oh, you should treat that the same as the interstate. Okay, maybe you should. Maybe you should go the left lane is the fast lane there. But you know what can't happen on the interstate that can happen on Highway 58? A car pull out from a side street that's not paying any attention.
Yeah.
And now I have a buffer. I learned that from Back to the Future when the Toyota, when he goes to do the race against Needles and decides not to have the race. And then that lady pulls out, Needles almost hits him. I'm like, whoa, yeah. That exact same thing happens all the time. Happens with cars, happens with motorcycles.
Yeah.
But to you motorcycle riders, because there's people that we ride with also that I want to explain this to you very simply. The speed limit, I'm not telling you have to go the speed limit. I'm not telling you have to go faster or slower than the speed limit. But you need to understand that other vehicles around you might possibly be going the speed limit or faster if you're not one of those individuals. So if you are pulling off of a side street onto a road that has a 50, 55 mile an hour speed zone, go. Get twisting and ripping and go. I'm not telling you got to light it up like you're drag racing. But there's certain areas where you could potentially be pulling out. For instance, Highway 58, someone comes down the hill there right by the apartments. Mm-hmm. If there's a police officer ripping up that hill to go to a call, if he's in the right lane and you pulled out, you only have a couple 100-yard view. So if there's someone, and the speed limit's 55, so if there's someone running 70, which is very quite possible because we've done it multiple times, you don't have a couple seconds until they're on you.
Yeah. I've always felt it was the duty of, and I know this is probably not written in any publication or, state driving handbook or whatever, but it's common road courtesy is the person that is merging onto a road, an interstate, whatever, it is their duty to match the traffic, right? I feel that if you're going to pull out into the main road, whatever it may be, it is your duty and your responsibility to match the speed of traffic, not for the traffic to slow down and match your speed as you accelerate.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely a safety concern. Time on the fire department, we went to accidents where people had pulled out, even on single lane roads or 2-lane, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where people would pull out on the roads that the speed limit was 35, but they would immediately pull out and just kind of take their time. And there's a car traveling way too fast and rear end them. Mm-hmm. And some of that can be mitigated. So I think that's kind of the key word of the day, mitigate. Yeah. You always want to be able to mitigate. You're never going to be able to stop. You're never going to be able to ensure. You're never going to be able to absolutely control every situation. Yeah. But the best you can do to mitigate a situation from getting worse, I think that's the better off you are.
Yeah, well, you have to, and it's not just motorcycle riding; it's anything. So
yeah. Now, talk about the interstate. Last words of wisdom: the on-ramp is not necessarily for you to just access the interstate. It's for you to get to interstate speed before you get onto the interstate.
Correct.
Hey everybody, this is Sean at White Lightning Harley Davidson. I want to thank you for listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You can reach the podcast on Facebook or Instagram at The Daily Biker, or you can email the podcast at thedailybiker@gmail.com. Be sure to keep an eye on White Lightning Harley Davidson's social media pages for the most up-to-date information on all our events and where you can find the boys.